All right, good morning. I'm Raga. Thanks so much for the introduction once again. And we're Moxtra. We power one-stop digital business apps is what we do, especially in the banking space. And what we believe is that your clients should be on your app. All right? And before we get into this, just a little bit of background about us. Quick show of hands, please. How many of you here have heard of WebEx? Fair amount, thank you. So our founder CEO, Subra Iyer, was also the founder CEO of WebEx before it was acquired by Cisco. And then he came together with Stanley Huang, who's the director of engineering at WebEx, and they actually co-founded Moxtra, right? So our team is pretty much the team that built WebEx. We come with that collaboration background, and we've used that knowledge of that collaboration, and we've built a platform to power these one-stop digital business apps. Now, I'm sure that today, just taking a step back, we're used to some of these applications in our day-to-day life, right? You have apps like Uber, you have apps like Uber Eats, you have Airbnb and Deliveroo. Now, this was a fragmented experience from a client's perspective. Each of these verticals, it was a fragmented experience from a customer's end customer's perspective. And what these apps were able to do is tie that journey end to end, right? Right from where you are, just using your mobile device, you're able to, let's say, get from point A to point B. You're able to get groceries delivered to your home. You're able to get your favorite food sitting at home, just taken care of end to end, right? From selection, menu, payments, everything taken care, right? Now, we want to provide a similar experience in the banking space as well. How does client engagement happen today? How does collaboration with your clients happen today? It's all over the place. You do a lot of in-person meetings, right? And then you have your tools such as, you have your instant messaging tools that you use, relationship managers use. Although we all know that they're not secure, they're not compliant, RMs still use it anyway. That's the reality, right? And then you have, because clients are used to that kind of experience. They're using all these apps. That's the experience they're used to today. And you have your emails, phone calls, and again, like I said, in-person meetings. Now, we want to stitch this and provide clients with an experience that they're used to today, right, in their day-to-day life, across the age spectrum, especially in the wealth banking space. We want to make sure it's secure and it complies with the standards that we have today. So what's the right mobile strategy, especially for a wealth business, right? We want to keep it very, very simple. A one-stop client app that your clients can use. And again, going back to your clients, should be on your application. This experience that I'm speaking about should all be happening through the bank's application, because only then are you able to control the client's experience from start to finish, right? And that's the objective that we have. Let's take a few examples of what I mean when I say this, right? And I just want to break each of these points down for you. So, do business directly with your clients. Like I said, today the experience is fragmented. It's all over the place. And what happens when conversations are all over the place is we start to lose context, right? And that conversation starts, every small thing starts taking time. Service requests start taking time. Transactions start taking time. It all starts to add up and it becomes slow. The next thing is, like I said, controlling the velocity of these transactions, of these conversations. It has to be quick. We're all so used to WhatsApp today, right? It's so quick, it's so efficient. We send in a message when we're free, we look at it later whenever we're available, right? That's similar experience that clients want today. You want a private channel that's secure, right? That's exactly what I'm getting at. And loyalty to the institution. Today what happens is there is, in wealth especially, relationship managers play such a key role in managing your clients. Why is that? Why can't the loyalty be with the bank, with the institution? How do we tie that loyalty of a client to the institution and not just to the individual, right? And of course, you want this to be measurable feedback for your customers' loyalty, right? So how do we try and achieve this? Let's look at what Citi did in India.
Citigold says hello. Citi redefines relationship management. Reach us the way you connect with your friends and family in your everyday life. Have conversations, video interactions, share images, execute real-time investment transactions, all on your smartphone, exclusively for Citigold customers. It's simple, fast, and safe. Just log in to the Citi mobile app and choose Hello. On the home page, you can view the status of your RM and SRM. To open a chat window, tap on Chat with Us. You can send a text or an audio message. If your RM is unavailable, he can view and respond to you later. You can also exchange pictures and use the editing tools to highlight specific details. You can call your RM or SRM by tapping on the phone icon. While on call, your RM or SRM can invite other experts, such as an investment counselor or a branch manager, to join in. The audio call can be converted to a video call simply by tapping on the video icon. You can also minimize your ongoing call to access other features, such as the Transaction Corner. Transaction Corner is the source of real-time investment intelligence. Once you have discussed a specific investment opportunity, the details will be entered by the RM in the Citi system, and you will immediately receive a notification. Should you decide to proceed, you will receive an OAC to authorize the transaction. That's it. Your investment transaction is now complete. Simple and convenient, isn't it? The next time you want to reach your Citi team, just log into your Citi mobile app. Say hello to Citi.
All right, so that's a video that Citibank put together, and the hello is essentially Moxtra. Moxtra is powering that hello. All the interaction that you saw the chat, you saw the document sharing, you saw the relationship manager sort of highlighting the key points on the portfolio, you saw them getting on a call, and you even saw them sort of transacting, making the transaction piece really, really simple. We have a chat, we get on a call, we have some action points that come in at the end of the call. How do you make those action points actionable at that moment, right? And you sort of create transactions and you sort of let the flow go. So this is the experience customers used to today. This is actually our CEO's Wells Fargo banking app, and this is sort of what you have available as your relationship team. You click on that relationship team, and that's the experience you have. A bunch of phone numbers, a bunch of email addresses, such a broken experience, in our opinion, right? So you want something that your clients can relate to in this day and age, right? So let's go back to the Citi example for a moment. So you saw what they did with Hello. They on the same Contact Us button, you get that view of who your relationship team is, who's the team that's servicing you, who are the people, right? You can get in touch with them with one click. And here are the few key points that I'd like to share with all of you today. Their engagement on the mobile app went up 80%, right? And all of this is data that was measured just in the first 10 months. 80% was the increase in their mobile app engagement, 200% productivity increase. And let me break that down. Let me break that down for you. So Citibank was our first client, right? And this happened in 2016. Since then, we've had a number of marquee clients and lots of examples to share. Right? And if you have questions, please feel free to post them. There's an iPad there, I can take them there, or we'll just use the last 2 minutes of this presentation for questions. So let me break that 200% increase down. India is fairly large in terms of geography, and there's a huge traffic problem. Right? So relationship managers would be able to do maybe 1 or 2 meetings with their clients every day. Now, after Hello was introduced, what they were able to do is clients could be anywhere they want. So let's say I'm a client, I could just be traveling to the airport, right? And an RM could just sit at their desk, schedule these calls with their clients at a time that works for their clients, and just get on a video call with them. It feels really personal. I'm able to walk my clients through their portfolio report while on call with them. The call is secure. The client is very, 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 very comfortable because it's happening on the banking app. The calls are recorded, and they know that if something goes wrong, Citi is there to take a look at that call and audit it. Right? It complies with industry standard, and most importantly, as a client, that's the experience I'm used to today. Right? So I'm on my cab. I'm getting to the airport. I'm able to have a call with my relationship manager. We're able to discuss my portfolio. The RM is able to sort of create these transactions for me, and I'm able to approve them all before I just get onto my flight. This is literally happening today. The same RM that was able to do 1 or 2 meetings a day is now able to actively do 4 or 5 meetings a day. And that's what that second line item reads. And the last piece is, of course, through this module, through this engagement, they were able to see on this module around $200 million in the first 10 months of transactions take place. This is, again, goes back to the point, the velocity point that I made, right? So these are some of the stats that Citi put out. And this is really the key, we feel, right? Today, the apps that I showed you in the beginning on the third slide are all apps that customers use, right, for their end-to-end journey, right? That's what you have. And on the client side is where the gap is, right, where you have a lot of back and forth usually. You have many people probably servicing just one customer, right? This is where things tend to get slow, and that is where Moxtra is able to add more value, right? We work with banks like OCBC in Singapore, which is one of the largest, it's the second largest retail bank in the region. And they cater to almost every segment of customers. Their private bank is called Bank of Singapore, which is what they rolled Moxtra out with first. And then they're rolling it down tier by tier. So you have your family offices, institutional clients on the top tier, wherein you have, a team representing the client and a team from the bank side sort of managing the client's money. On the second level, you have, your private wealth and your high net worth individuals, where you have a team from the bank just servicing this one client, dedicated team. And then as you come down, you have your mass affluent, where you have maybe a pool of relationship managers serving a pool of customers. Whoever is available sort of picks up the customer's query and services them. And then in the last tier, you have your retail customers, where they use things like chatbots and things like that. So as you go up the tier, higher the value. And Moxtra is able to add more value as you go up the tier, but we're still able to service sort of every level. And what we see is it trickles down. We started with Bank of Singapore in Singapore, for instance, and now they're rolling it out with OCBC and their premier clients in OCBC, and then slowly rolling it down to retail and so on. Same thing with Citi. Citi started with their gold segment, which is their top tier, and then now it's being rolled out to Citi Blue, which is their priority segment as well. What does, in essence, Moxtra provide? It provides, banks still today are not comfortable moving to the cloud, although we have a couple of banks like ABN AMRO, which have taken, with a sort of a pilot at taking a private cloud approach, but still banks prefer that our technology is deployed on-premise, so we give banks the flexibility. They're able to manage it themselves. You have a user management module where you want to have certain capabilities made available to certain users, and an extremely comprehensive audit module where you want to, as a bank or as a wealth manager, have an overview of all the conversations that are happening, be comfortable, ensure the right message is being conveyed to the customers, and so on. Some of our clients, the likes of Raiffeisen Bank in Europe, ABN AMRO, OCBC Bank. We also work with FIS. They service, their platform services almost 10,000 small and mid-sized banks. So we are working with them. So if a bank wants this module, they can just sort of check it on, and it comes as a part of the FIS product baked in. We're working with MUFG on a whole stream of use cases that I'd like to walk you through. We have a booth outside. So please feel free to stop by. I'd love to give you all a demo of what we have going and how some of these banks are working with us. And of course, we have a few banks in China as well. From an offering standpoint, 2 key offerings. So you can either use our solution white labeled, as you see, or all the capabilities that we have can be embedded within your app, right? Like you saw the Citi example. It's Citi's app. The customer is downloading Citi's app, logging into Citi's app, and that's exactly how they interact with the bank. And today with banks enabling Touch ID, Face ID, it becomes that much more seamless. My relationship manager sort of sends me a message or sends me a document. I get a push notification. I swipe on that push notification. My banking app opens. I sort of do a Touch ID or a Face ID. I'm in the app. I'm looking at that document, and I can respond. So that's how seamless we want the experience to be, and that's how seamless it should be, because that's what clients are used to today. So 2 key offerings. White labeled app, if you don't have an app, we'll provide you an app that you can use as your own app, right? On the App Store, on the Play Store, that your clients can download, and you can sort of use it to have these high-touch engagements with them. If you already have an app, you can take our SDKs, APIs, and embed them within your application. Again, just going through our overview again. So on the left side is what we call the client portal, wherein this is the view that your clients see today. They see the team that's servicing them, all the different conversations that they're part of, any upcoming meetings they have. The next view you see is what your internal staff uses to manage not just their clients, but also their internal conversations. So as an internal staff member, if I'm servicing a client, it's bound to happen that I have to talk to my internal team. I may have to talk to a product expert. I may have to speak to an investment advisor and pull them into the conversation. So we provide you a sort of business portal that allows you to do all of those things. And of course, a management portal where you can audit, manage your users, define the teams that have to manage, who has to manage whom and whatnot. And one of the points that I'd like to make here is with respect to the points I said, tying your clients to the institution and not the person itself. So let's say a relationship manager moves out of the bank, right? What happens? Generally, more often than not, the complaints we've seen from our customers is that the client goes with them. Well, here, what we're able to do is tie the client to the application, and when the RM leaves sort of the bank, we just add a new RM in their place. They get added to the same conversation. This new person has context of what's been discussed, right? So the context is not lost. And it's improved their ability to retain clients, right? Because now suddenly the customer doesn't have to build everything from scratch with this new relationship manager. Some of their preferences, some of their choices, some of their portfolio reports, it's all there. Some of their discussions, it's all there. They can just refer to that for context and then carry the conversation on from there. Right, so just breaking down some of the key things that we do. Client portal again, you have the team that's servicing you. That's the transactions module, basically how many transactions do I have pending and so on, and the list of conversations that are available. Secure messaging. Dynamic audio visual voicemails. This is something that's worked really, really well for us as a company. So what RMs or the team investment advisors are able to do is on the go, they're able to make these personalized 1-2 minute videos that they can push to their clients. The clients feel they get a really, really personalized, enriched sort of an experience, a small video, 30-second video, telling them about maybe their portfolio or a specific product, addressing their key concerns. And this is something that the internal staff can reuse and actually send it to multiple clients. So you have all these different capabilities. You have real-time meetings that you can do. As you can see on the screen, maybe the client's on video on the mobile device, and your internal staff are on the desk. They're walking the client through their portfolio and sort of highlighting the key points that they want to discuss or talk about. You have e-signatures that you can use. And the transaction workflows. So this is what it looks like. You tap on a transaction, it opens up. You have your approve and decline buttons. Generally in wealth banking, you have more than one person on the client side that needs to approve if they're joint account holders or something of that sort. So you can do both parallel approvals or sequential approvals. All these are essentially APIs and SDK that you can really configure. So 3-stack is the way I'd look at it. You have on the front, you have the persona that engages with your clients. In the middle, you have your embedded collaboration piece. And then integrations and deployment really depends on the bank's preference itself. That's it. This is what I had to offer. Your client should be on your app, no matter where they're speaking with you. Eventually, the goal is even if it's on WhatsApp, you tie it back, or even if it's on a social platform like WeChat or whatever, you tie it back and bring them back to your own application. Thank you. There is a minute left. I will pause and check if there are any questions. A quick question. Happy to take that. Yes?
Did you have any resistance in terms of culture with any of the advisors within Citi or other banks?
Yes. Great question. So the gentleman's question was there any resistance in terms of advisors using a tool like this, knowing that they'd be monitored? Actually, the incentive for the advisor was that they have their tracks covered, right? So if they use this platform, tomorrow, if a client sort of misinterprets something they've said, or if the client's portfolio tanks and starts putting the blame on the advisor, then with this tool, they're sort of covered. So that was the key incentive. And Citi also sort of put in some incentive structures for using a platform like this. And now actually RMs and advisors, we see an uptake because they think it's really, really convenient for them. So that's been our observation. All right, I think that's time. Thank you all so much. We have a booth. Please do stop by. I'd love to take your questions and give you a demo. Thank you all so much. Thank you.